Hi everyone. All right, we're going to talk about exponents, specifically power of a power. So students will apply properties of exponent, multiplication, addition to simplify expressions. So when you have a power to a power, you are going to be multiplying your exponents, okay? And the reason for that is you're essentially distributing them in. So what this looks like, let's say we have 2m n raised to the third, okay? So you're distributing, all these have, I'll back up, all these have an exponent of 1. So you're distributing the exponent to the other exponent. So now you have 2 to the 3, m to the 3, and n to the 3. So when we simplify, it's 8 cubed, m cubed, n cubed. So why this works is, as you talked about before in the prior videos, you can write this in expanded form. So if you have a cube, that means you're multiplying something by itself 3 times. So that's essentially what we have here. So I wrote 2mn 3 times. So I have 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. I have m to the first times m to the first times m to the first. 1 plus 1 plus 1 gives me 3. Same thing with n. 1 plus 1 plus 1 gives me 3. So instead of having to write it expanded, you're simply doing a shortcut by distributing the exponent inside. So what this looks like when we have our examples is if we just have a base that's a number, only the exponent goes into the other exponent. So this will be 2 to the 15th, and then you can calculate that from there. You are not multiplying the 3 to the 2, so you do not get 6 to the 5th. Okay, that does not happen. So just like we did in our first example, everything on the inside that's getting raised to the power gets that power. So now this is 3 to the third. 2 times 3 is 6. So when you simplify this, you get 27z to the 6th power. Okay, so then our last example down here, we have a bunch. So again, this is 4 to the first power, x to the first power. If you're unsure if there's nothing there, put the 1 in there. So now exponent to exponent, you have 4 squared. Exponent to exponent, you have x to the 12th, 6 times 2. Now both of these are also being multiplied, so now you have x squared, and then you have y to the 8th. So now simplify, 4 squared is 16, x, same bases, multiplying together, it means you can add the exponents. Now we have x to the 14th, and then y to the 8th. So that's our answer for that one. Okay, so moving on, power of a product. We just did a bunch of those. That's what these are, power of product. So whether the exponent is positive or negative, you are going to distribute that exponent into the other exponents. So little numbers stay with little numbers. So 7 to the third, m, this 9 becomes a 27, okay, and then you can simplify from there. So as I said, it doesn't matter if the exponent is negative or not. You can go ahead and distribute. So now this is 2 to the negative 4 to the negative 4, which just means now we're going to move everything to the bottom that has a negative exponent. So now 2 to the 4th is 16, and because it's positive when you move them to the bottom of the fraction, that's what we end up with. So then power of a quotient is division. Okay, if you remember, quotient is division. So this is a little blurry, but this is a 4 and this is a 4. So you can do one of two things. You can simplify as much as possible first, or you can go ahead and distribute. So for this particular one, I'm going to go ahead and simplify as much as possible first. So really what I have here is a to the 4th minus 5, the whole thing being raised to the 4th power. So now this becomes a to the negative 1 to the 4th power. So it's still negative in the top. So when you go to distribute your 4 in, you can move it to the bottom and it becomes positive 4. Okay. So then this one, number 4, this one is simplified. You have 4 over x cubed. So remember, it's 4 to the 1. So we're just going to distribute to the top and the bottom. that 2. So quotient just means you have everything that can go, the exponent will go to everything in the top and everything in the bottom. So now we have 4 squared over x to the 6. So now this is 16 over x to the 6. Okay, so those are some exponent properties. So I want to go ahead and have you do some of this yourself. So I want you to go ahead and practice 5 and 6. So go ahead and do that now. So for number 5, the only thing that's getting multiplied by that -2 is the y to the 4th. So please do not get that confused. Only the items inside the parentheses get it. So when you do all your steps, you should end up with 1 over y to the 5th. So distribute, you get -8. Add your exponents together because you have like bases, you get -5, and then move it. So then 6, you just go ahead and distribute the 5 in because there's nothing to simplify. So everything gets raised to the 5th power, and then when you simplify your coefficients, that's what you get. Okay? So I want you to go ahead and do number 7 on your own now. Go and do that. All right, so this one's just like number 5. Distribute the -4 in. Only the items inside the parentheses get the -4. So you have 2 and -24 as your exponents. Add them together because you have like bases, and then move the negative exponent to the bottom because it is negative, it needs to be positive. So now, same idea, I want you to just finish the lesson. I want you to do 8 and 9 all on your own. Go ahead and do that now. All right, so number 8, you have a -2, and everything on the inside has a power of 1, so you go ahead and distribute. So when you do that, everything is getting switched because everything has that negative exponent. So usually you just move 1 or 2 things. Everything is getting switched here, so you end up with 25b squared all over a squared. So I want to take a look at number 9. Number 9, all the coefficients have an exponent of 1, but we have this negative here. So it doesn't matter which the top or the bottom you make negative. So I'm going to go ahead and make the top negative. So if you remember, this square means you're multiplying something times itself twice. So if anything to an even power, so square, fourth, 6, anything like that, that negative is going to cancel. So -7 times -7 gives you that positive 49, x squared and x squared, x to the 4th. You get 5 squared, which is 25, and y to the 8th. Okay, so if you're unsure, write it out just like we did over here. Oops, that's not a highlighter, huh? Highlighter. Right here, write it out. If it's only 2 or 3 times, it's good to see what your signs are doing. But if this negative's out front here, just pick a top or a bottom, okay? If it's in the top, it's negative. If it's in the bottom, it's negative. Just pick one. Do not pick both. Okay, if you have any questions, come and ask. Have a great day.